sort of a peacock today. Gotta find some way to inject some color into our life. Oh, God. Well, happy Friday to you folks.
Yep.
We're going to do our level best to put on a decent show. What?
You! What?
What?
You need a haircut.
Yeah, I know.
We're at that point again.
I'm holding all this stuff and I don't know where to put it. Binoculars. Okay. I don't know. It's Friday. Here we are. Mm-hmm. And there's a parade of cars going outside the window. I don't know.
What am I touching?
I know. What are you touching?
Because my hair is so long.
What? It's just...
Silver keeps touching me.
Scrap silver sheeting that I was going to use, that I scavenged off an old broken weighted sterling candle, so it's like sheet silver that's like basically barely thicker than tinfoil, and then it's filled with resin, kind of like a heavy wax. And I was going to use it for my sword sheath, and I haven't done anything with it. Now it's poking her. I don't know. We're so...
Yeah, we don't have anything, because we don't leave the house. Let's see, the excitement is there was a fire by the dairy farm where we get our milk, but then that's 100% contained now. And then the Cameron...
And the cows are safe.
The cows are safe. The Cameron Peak fire is in the Poudre Canyon, and it's at 23,000 acres, and it's going towards Rocky Mountain National Park, which has lots of beetle kill, which means that there's lots and lots and lots of dead trees. So... there's smoke, and I have puffy eyes, and I don't know. Yeah,
when you're driving through the mountains now, this beetle kill, I didn't know this. I thought that it was an invasive species, but you told me.
I looked it up, and they are specific from Mexico up to British Columbia, and they had an outbreak at some point. And it just goes like up in a straight line, and the outbreak here has been going since 1996 because of climate change, and the winters are warmer so they don't die off, and the summers are hotter, so they're like, woohoo, party time. Yeah,
so when you're driving through the mountains, you look on the sides of the mountains, all these pine trees, like huge swaths of dead trees. It's really kind of depressing. And the fire is going to get in there, and...
Yeah, the firemen can't really get in there. And then there's also, I learned last night about spot fires, which means the embers are, instead of being on the ground going poof, they jump from tree to tree.
Yeah, it's something. But on a brighter note, look at this beautiful 6139 6005 I restored for a customer yesterday. You just don't see them very often. And I love the later ones that have this taper bracelet, but just the perfection of the unfaded ring and the dial, and it looks like a completely different watch. I have obviously owned many like this, but it's been a long time. Those days are over. Of course, I don't look for them.
Okay.
Hi. Okay, we're here. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Let's do
wrist check.
Right, that thing. Well. Man, oh man alive.
What?
I don't know, it's wrist check time. I'm so glad you're wearing that.
Okay, then I guess I'll go first. Boop.
Isn't that something?
I'm trying to get the glare off of it. There.
It's such a great watch. And nobody's recreated that case. It's so nice. And me, I am being really boring. I'm still wearing this 6309 729 blank with the blue bezel, the faded up here, and so I just can't stop wearing it. I also love wearing divers on leather, and the fact that this is a chronograph leather, I love that even more because it's guaranteed to annoy some people that I'm wearing not just leather but a chronograph leather. So you know what? There you go. That's a scoop of ice cream. So how does that feel on your wrist, by the way?
Comfortable.
Yeah, it's a great case design. It's a great case design.
And it's kind of tall for my silly little wrists, but I don't know, it's comfortable.
It has excellent ergonomics on the bottom. And the fact that nobody has reproduced that exact case, like even Seiko, every single time they've redone that, they've sort of blunkterized it. And it's got a sort of this bottom extra, it's thick. And not with, well, I guess with two C's. But it's, I don't know. I'm talking with Steve Laughlin at Raven Watches, potentially about a collaboration to recreate that baby. We're talking about it. I need to call him. Anyway, so let's rock and roll. What?
You.
I'm not too old to rock. Maybe I was always too old to rock.
Randy Allen. Hi, guys. Hope you're doing well and your fire is out. No. We had one a couple of weeks in July in the mountains above town, and it's no fun. I could see the flames playing along the slopes at night from my front door. The area is pretty much inaccessible on foot, so it was hard to put out. Your mention of Fort Ram brought back some memories, although Washington's was where I spent more time. Is it still there? They just sold it like 4 years ago, and now it's a music venue.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at Washington's back in the day. I was a bartender at the Rio, and when we would shut down for the night and close it, we'd all take our tip cash, and everybody would go to Washington's and hang out. I spent a lot of time playing darts at Washington's. But she's right, it got sold a few years ago, and all those antiques and stuff, the whole inside was gutted basically. All that stuff got sold off, and now it's sort of a music venue. I haven't been inside.
No. Lunch on Sundays was always a hit. Don't know if you've seen it yet. It was just posted a couple of hours ago, whenever that was. But Jack Foster wrote a great article about watch escapements on the Hodinkee site this morning, and towards the end he mentions a new movement and escapement that Seiko has. I can't remember the name, but it was something like a coaxial instead of a Swiss lever, no spring drive electromagic. You might find it an interesting read. As Skylar White says, have a super sparkly day.
Yeah, I've heard things about them trying to make their own coaxial, and I'm assuming that they don't want to license it, so they're trying to come up with a variant that's just different enough that they don't have to pay a licensing fee to Omega, who bought it from the guy who invented it, and nobody wanted it. I don't know. It's a very interesting escapement. Normally when you have a regular escapement, you've got the escape wheel going back and forth, and you just have that pallet fork.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Okay.
And so you have these stones are interacting, and they slide. They slide over the teeth of the escape wheel, and so you have all this friction. It's why you have to lubricate those stones, and they're going back and forth, and they're dragging. The coaxial means it has basically two different plates, and it has a third stone, so that there's no sliding. Everything is intermediary, so the fork, the stones don't slide. They just disengage. So it's a more efficient movement, and you don't have to lubricate the stones. It's very cool.
Okay. Are you done?
Am I ever done?
Yeah, okay. Mike D. OMG, I would buy the crap out of a Quartz 5KX.
Okay, a few people have talked about that. One person was like, not interested. Their comment is on here. I need to take time and see what vintage quartz movements will fit into an SKX case. I'm curious. I've been going through a lot of my old quartz movements and learning a lot of things. There's some older quartz movements that are from the 80s and 70s and 80s that are really fantastic that nobody thinks about. The A223s are every bit as good as a 7549, 7548, and they're pretty thin. There's another one, which is the 7/8 movement, 7813, and they are, that's no date, but they might make a date version, but they're really nice, and they're very slim. They're in like a super slim dress watch of their time, and they come with a trimmer and everything. They're awesome. They're really awesome. So I'm going to look and see if there's something that would slot in relatively easily. Hi.
Hi. Four-Wing Colossus. Spencer scopes chicken short shorts and tells Sabrina, oh, I'm only noticing the color of her purse. It's so short. I mean, unusual.
Well, here's the sad thing. It's really sad.
It's true. He was looking at her purse. I know him. I was teasing.
Yeah. The person was some kind of thin, vaguely female form, but that color coral just... And
Also, he has bad eyes.
yeah, I'm lucky I can see anything. But the coral I can see.
Okay. Julie Hill, Sabrina, the G-Shock is truly an icon and an egalitarian watch. Affordable, iconic design available to the many, not the few. The ultimate beater tool watch. On rotating a screwed down crown counterclockwise to find the point where the threads are aligned enough to start reversing to cinch down. The term that works is engage from Captain Picard. Funny, my Orient Mako USA has always had a gritty feel when cinching its crown, but is also more accurate than most of my Seikos.
Engage. I don't know. It's like this is going back to the whole lollipop stick hand thing.
The meatball.
The meatball. Who knows what anything? Nobody knows what anything's called.
We make it up as we go.
I don't know. Mesh. When things mesh, they mesh together. I mean, I guess engage, but engage is when you engage. We got engaged. Now we're married. It's a true story.
Yeah, it is.
I think I had shrimp at that Thai restaurant after we got married. Don't you think so?
I don't remember.
I think I did.
I don't remember. It was very awkward.
Dad was happy. That's all that matters.
He had a sticky on his fork. And he called over the waitress.
Well, there's a sticky on this fork.
And she was like...
She said, no habla español.
We were at a Thai restaurant.
I know that.
Can I carry on?
Every day. Go! What?
Tom N. Great recovery with the coral handbag comeback sponsor.
You should look, there's Howard Hughes owned one of the very last Packards. It was a Packard Caribbean. And it was Packard in their death throes. And it was not just two-tone, 50s two-tone, it was 50s three-tone. And one of those tones was coral. So anyway, look up the Packard. Look up his.
What's a Packard other than Hewlett Packard?
No, well, Packard used to be actually one of the greatest American car brands. They were like a real luxury brand, especially before the war, World War II. But then during World War II, they were famous for. They made the Packard Merlin V12s for P-51 fighters and a bunch of other stuff. It was a license-built version of the Rolls-Royce V12, and they did a bunch of different stuff with it. But then after the war ended, they tried to come back, but that kind of high-end, really nice car that Packard was before, there was no real place for them. And by the mid-50s, they were dead. I think his Packard Caribbean was 56, and I think that was the end of it.
Okay.
He didn't like the car. And he kept complaining about its performance, and he had his crews of engineers rework it repeatedly, go through all the carburation, everything else like that, and it never came to the point that he would ever drive it. And I think it's in a private museum now.
Okay. Did I ever finish reading that? No, I didn't. Lovely Blue 7017 you have there. I just watched a Watchfinder video on a beautiful automatic Grand Seiko. It struck me that the spring drive, while impressive, leaves people cold. Likewise, quartz is a hard sell at that price point. I think Seiko would do well to put less bespoke versions of these into mid-level watches and have GS focus on super chronometer high beat movements. Like you, though, Seiko hasn't... come knocking on my door yet. I lived in Seattle in the mid-90s. Too late, Kurt. My brother and I did go to Jimi Hendrix's grave in Renton outside of Seattle. When I told the desk attendant that we'd come to pay our respects, she said that no one had ever put it that way. The grave was very plain, off by itself. It was kind of sad, but moving too.
What are old Jim's doing these days? What was the first part of his question?
I don't know.
I don't know why you people tune in. Why do you listen to us?
We have no wrong way.
What?
Wrong way.
I don't know what's going on. There's a Watchfinder video that I don't know. Every time I saw Spring Drive, I'm like, I understand the technology, And it's a very neat idea. The whole idea that you have this automatic generating system that stores mechanical power, some of which is converted to electrical power to run the CMOS, the quartz part of it for accuracy. It's a pretty neat thing, and the fact that it has no beat and it spins, it's pretty cool. I've never owned one. I've only seen one in watch stores and things like that. I don't know how it would feel on the wrist. I don't know. Maybe there's an authorized dealer down in Denver that someday, if we ever get down to Denver, which might as well be the moon, I'll look at another one.
I don't think we've been there.
No, the last time we went down, we went to didn't we go to the Natural History Museum? And we were like, we don't need to come here again because they have really small exhibits.
No, Willow wasn't even born when we did that.
Really?
Really? I think the last time we went was to the doctor.
Oh, yeah, when I drove you down there to the UC Health.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't done anything. Didn't we go? God, it's been so long.
We don't go anywhere or do anything.
I hate driving. I spent years commuting, and I hate driving.
I hate going out with kids.
Hate going out with kids, and now coronavirus, and we just go sit in a corner. Wait for the end.
You get your corner, I'll get my corner.
Just sit there and wait.
Okay.
That reminds me about I'm not going to tell you about the monastery thing I saw yesterday. Anyway, go on.
Garrett Jansen. Hey, SNS, glad Sadie was paying attention and being a good older sister.
Mm-hmm. She loves Sebastian.
Mm-hmm. Even more glad that Sebastian is doing fine now. Thanks for answering my video about the chronograph hands-on. So if I interpret it right, you'd have to replace the chronograph wheel and hand and tube should it be out of alignment, which is a bit cost prohibitive. Since you brought out the 6159 7001, how do you feel about investment watches or watches that get stored away due to the value associated with them? I imagine when you got yours it wasn't nearly worth what it is now. Watches are made to be worn and scotch is made to be shared, as I like to say. I just remembered when you first started doing these videos and you had this, and you were like, my wife won't let me wear it because it's worth too much money, and someone was like, you don't your wife.
You're the man.
Put your woman in
you
line.
Put your woman in, you stand. Whatever, dude. Who wears the pants over there?
Well, you know what? I'm thinking of the finances.
On the first thing you were talking about, the fitting a chronograph hand to a 6139. Yes, officially, the official Seiko line from back in the day is that any service that the hand gets replaced. They never reused the hands. They consider them one use only. That's especially true when you replace the chronograph wheel. You have to, because that pinion with the flat side can be anywhere. For the Suo ones, they didn't key it in to a specific orientation. So if you, but there are ways to do it. I have successfully reset original hands onto new chronograph wheels. You can do it. It's the thing you have to be careful about is just making sure that the tube on the hand doesn't crack, and they're just you just reset it, and 8 times out of 10 it's fine. But it's we all have to find ways to get around these obstacles that are a result of lack of parts availability. What was the second part?
I don't know. I just read. I don't pay attention. I don't even remember which one I read. I think I read that one.
Oh, since you brought up the 6159, how do you feel about investment watches? Watches that get stored away due to their value? I don't know. It kind of makes me sad. No, this watch, that 6159, is ridiculous. We took out a little loan for it at the bank, and I think about how little we paid for it all those years ago, and I'm like, it's silly.
I believe in putting things away that are an investment, especially when you have a small boy who likes throwing things.
He appeared upstairs with my great-grandmother's handmade French carriage clock.
I was at the dentist.
And I was like, ooh. He was like, don't take it away. He loves machines. But I don't know, investment stuff, it depends. I mean, man, that 6159, one of the reasons I'm talking to Steve Laughlin at Raven and we're discussing this, I would love to be able to wear the darn thing, and I'll wear it, but I won't wear it out of the house. Unfortunately, it's just, money is money. But then, I don't have a real problem wearing any of my other super dumb watches. I don't know.
I think I put a high value on this one I got in your head. Because this was worth the most money before you got your Rolexes. So this was the thing.
Got and sold many Rolexes. Now I'm down to reasonable ones that I built.
Okay.
I don't know, but even those ones that I built are worth a lot of money. Who knows? Who cares? I guess, if it's something like this, a brand new limited edition collector's piece, and somebody buys that to stick in the safe, maybe. But, the world produces so many watches. How many are really going to be worth money in the future? I remember the 6159s. I remember when they started going up in value. Jonathan Koch, a blessed memory, he said, I can't believe these things are worth any money. He'd been in the business for decades. He said nobody wanted those things. No one. He told me that he could not give them away. Big, giant, heavy things. Nobody wanted them. So who knew that was going to become a thing? Oh, well.
Why are you saying, oh, well?
Why not?
Okay. Andrew W. Hey dudes, question for next week's video. I recently picked up a Sportsmatic 7625823, a cool watch with the same handset as the 62 MAS. Anywho, my question is about the movement. I assumed it was part of the 7000 series, but it has a lower beat rate of 18,000 VPH. Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about these? Do they predate the Dynie 7000 series?
They do. They're a weird orphan family. And this was another one of the designs that was moved over to Orient. They had some lovely models. They're a mid-60s model. The last of them really would have been in the late 60s. They had, I think the most prominent member of their family was that one that you have. It's the 762, whatever the hell the darn thing is. But it's the one that it's the big style dress watch with the 62 MAS hands, like you said. Seiko produced, Suwa had them, Dynie had them, and then pre-Suwa, pre-Dynie, they also had them.
What's pre-Suwa, pre-Dynie?
Well, because they didn't really start producing their own designs really until like 68.
So then who made them?
Well, no, they were made by Seiko, but the two factories didn't have really a divergent line of products until about that time. Oh. They're cool. They're kind of weird in that they have, like, if you get the date model, the date quick set is at like a little after the 2 o'clock marker, and that's a really old school setup. But they're also, if you set the date at between 9 and 3 in the morning, generally that's a bad idea. But with these things, the 7.6 series, if you set that, you're trying to turn the date wheel backwards against the date driving wheel, and the whole thing will explode. First one I ever saw, I pulled it apart and I'm like, what in the way? It looked like a bomb had gone off inside the calendar portion of the watch. So they're good, they're slow, they're chuggers. I have actually a couple beautiful earlier 60s dress watches, one with gorgeous brown tritium loom, but they're in the parts stores. I never really think about them. It's okay, honey. It's okay.
I'm tired.
I know you're tired. Take a nap.
I'm working.
We are working on a Friday.
We always do.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh.
We have for years.
I can't believe it. Every week I'm like, maybe this coming week, maybe we don't have to do it. Oh. Maybe we could take a week off. Just,
Yeah, but then you print the questions.
I don't know what to do. I don't know. We foist ourselves on all these poor people.
They appear to like it.
Onward and upward.
Y2K Tube. Another yes for quartz divers.
Okay.
Unlike the Sin watch you currently own, there is a Sin submarine steel UX model line. corrosion resistant with no magnetic properties. These amazing divers won't fog. They're basically pressure resistant, 5,000 meters, and the dials are readable under any angle when diving. Plus, they use a movement that is 20 times more accurate than standard quartz, also thermocompensated. Sin achieves all of this by filling these watches with special oil. You certainly can't do that for mechanical movement. Doing this completely replaces any air inside the case. So for less than $3,000, you'll have a diver that can handle the harshest conditions imaginable. Not sure if any automatic diver can even come close to achieving all of this. So yes to quartz. By the way, you turned me onto the fantastic 7828 Seikos. Love them.
Oh, 7828s are just great. Yeah, actually, I remember many years ago about having oil-filled quartz watches. There was sort of a DIY trend where you could do your own quartz watches that way. You apparently, there's a way to do it. You fill them with some kind of inert mineral oil, and it works. I remember there being posts about it. So that's something to look at. There is a mechanical watch that does have an oil-filled display. They're super, super, super expensive, and they work by magnetic coupling. So you have the movement, mechanical movement doing its thing, and it somehow has big magnets in there that don't affect the mechanical movement, but they engage with elements of the hands and calendar in this sort of dome thing. I don't know. It's pretty wacky, but they're really expensive. Many thousands of dollars. A lot of money. I haven't thought about them for a while.
Okay. Sebastian Wolf. Hello, Spencer. I am from Switzerland. I just bought one Icon Seiko Turtle from 1984 or 1974 for only 180 Swiss francs. Is that their money?
I guess so.
In good condition, but needs services. The movement's running plus 60 seconds per day. Can you give me the address from your, I don't speak other language, Uhrenmacher?
Your watchmaker.
Oh, from Switzerland. Best regards, Sebastian.
Well, hello, Sebastian. Nice name. The reason I put this question up there is I'm still not taking work. I'm getting closer. 30 jobs. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there, but not yet.
I can't believe you had like 250 jobs. I'd be yelling at him, stop taking work!
I mean, he's not even wearing a helmet. He's wearing shorts.
And he wears flip-flops.
And he's wearing flip-flops on a motorcycle. The guy's a firefighter.
Oh, what are you going to do? We all make choices. This is America.
What was I going to say? Oh God, at a certain point I had so many jobs. I had to go. I was really nervous about having them anywhere in the house because I didn't have a big like, heavy duty safe bolted to the foundation. So I had all the jobs were over. I had 4 of the biggest safe deposit boxes at a major bank in the middle of town that had all the jobs in there. And I used to have to go over there like once a week and get a special private office with a locking door and pull out these jobs and go. I had set aside a chunk of time to go through these things. There were so many watches. When I deposited those, it took me 2 trips from the car to haul in the suitcases with all of these watches. It was ridiculous. I'm down to 30 jobs. And when the time comes that I'm going to be taking more work, there's going to be a limited number of slots that I'm going to put up for sale as a purchasable item on the website. There's going to be a limit. It's going to be 1 per person. There will be no scalping or anything else like that. And I guess I'll probably announce maybe, should I do it like, Cheap Trick tickets going on sale? That they're going to go on sale at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday
Yeah,
or
but
something
then that
like
puts pressure on us to make sure we do it at the exact time.
Or you just be us and do it whenever we remember.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, no, I don't think, our time to see Cheap Trick live in concert is running out, by the way. So anyway, in answer to your question, you can't send your watch in yet. I apologize. You would need to, when I'm down to 0 jobs and I'm done laying in the backyard hyperventilating that it's all over, I'll put up the jobs on the website and we'll go from there. I wish I could take everybody's job. I really do. But I just can't. We get job inquiries every single day, and so I'd love to, but I can't. Coming up though.
Oh, I just remembered something. An announcement. I don't sell on eBay anymore. Sorry.
Oh yes. Do you want to tell them why?
Because eBay changed their rules. That it used to be, as I'm sure everybody knows, you would sell something and then you would get the money into PayPal. Well, no, they're not doing that anymore. They have to have access to your bank, and then you get your money 3 days after it was delivered.
And the customer's happy with it.
Yes.
Then they give you your money. So like, she sells a crystal to Australia or South Africa, and with all the manufactured false mail problems that are happening right now, if it takes 6 to 8 weeks for a crystal to show up somewhere.
No, that's before all this stupid mail stuff was happening. It would take to Australia about 6 weeks. Now it could take 3 months. I have no idea.
Right. So she sends a crystal away, and then 3 months and 3 days later she gets paid. It's stupid. So we are no longer on eBay selling at all, only on the website. So you folks that are out there running around in the forums, if somebody's like, hey, where are these eBay listings? That we don't have them anymore. They're all on the website.
eBay sucks.
Used to be great. Oh well.
Oh well, next one. Domo drums. Amazing video. I am embarking on a similar project with my H557503A.
Oh, right, okay.
Just wondering, did you just push the glass out, then the plastic bezel will come out after? Thanks.
The way that those work, so when you have the flat nylon gaskets, the crystal, the spacing is just enough that you have the case, then you have this really thin ribbon of stiff nylon, and then the crystal forces in and it's held. It's a very simple system and it's effective. With those, because they have a squarish crystal, and then you've got sort of this plastic bezel-y thing underneath it. Yes, you press those out, but I use a crystal press, and not only that, I use a crystal press. I use a nylon die that to push it out that I modified to fit around those elements. So it's you have this like plastic bar thing on this bezel that's underneath the dial, and the die comes up around it and pushes on the glass. Because if you do it any other way, it's just that it just shatters. There's no way to get the crystal out from the front. It has to be pushed out very gently from the inside. It just takes time.
Rick Johnson. Friday question. The MacV SOG watches 6619, I believe. Did they have a sterile dial? As I understand it, these were worn behind enemy lines and meant to blend in.
And that's true. The photo documentary evidence we have is, and every single one of them I've ever seen, they all just have standard Seiko branding. They say Seiko. None of them are sterile. None of them. I think the thing is they wanted to replicate it being a civilian model. It's just a dress watch. Before the official MacV models arose, a lot of these guys would just go down and buy whatever watch they wanted at the PX. I own a few pre-MacV SOG watches that the only reason that I know that they were worn in country is because the original owner wore them in country, and I know about it. Other than that, it's just a standard dress model. And Seiko continued doing that. So they had special dials, but they weren't marked in any way that was unusual.
Slim Perkins. I have epilepsy due to a head injury when I was 13.
Sorry.
Have grand mal seizures every couple of months. If I'm stressed out, sometimes it will trigger them. I know my parents were terrified when I had my first one on the first day of high school. They thought I was trying to pull the fast one, but nope, full-blown epileptic fit. Hope Sebastian is feeling better and gets well soon. Did he chew his tongue up? Happens to me a lot. Makes it hard to eat for a few days. No, he just drooled a lot.
And then when he started being able to speak again, he said, "Get off of me." No, we're sorry to hear about your situation, and thank you for asking about Sebastian. He's fine.
Umcar? That one.
Elmcar.
Umcar. Great video, Spencer. The 62 MAS is a piece I want to own one day for sure, but there's just something about those 7548s with the Z199.
The 7548s, they're just a great watch. Hang on a second.
Where are you going?
Over here.
Why?
Because 7548 with the Z199 is utterly, it's unmatchable and it's so unique. Even without the Z199, they're such attractive watches. I just picked this up from a customer who, these are weird economic times, and he decided that he needed to. Actually, he asked me if I could buy the watches rather than restore him for him, and so he told me what he wanted to get for him, and we set up a bargain, and there we are. So this one, I mean, you look at this one, it's unrestored and it's a little beaten up, but even just by itself, it's such a perfect, clean design. 62 MAS. I've owned 5 of them, 5 or 6 of them. Some really nice ones. I mean, some really nice ones. And I like the look of them. I just never really end up wearing them. But I do love the design. But I think just in terms of being a pure tool watch, this is far, far superior to a 62 MAS. And I think 62 MAS, that's another example of the value negating the coolness of the watch. You can't really wear them anymore because they're worth so much money. $3,000 and $4,000 now. I remember when I sold one for $1,200, I was like, that's goddamn, that's a lot of money. And then they sold it, and then the reissues first came out, and all of a sudden they went to $3,000, just like that.
Oh well.
What are you gonna do?
So I have a question. Is this the same question, same person, or did you forget a name, or?
No, there are 2 statements from the same person. Aristides.
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I can't pronounce anything. But you'll know your question.
No, I was listening to it on YouTube. I looked it up to get a pronunciation guide for the gentleman's name. That's what I said this morning.
Well, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Aristides.
Okay.
I think because you lean on the T, I think.
I don't know. Okay. Hello, Spencer and Sabrina. I own an SKX007, which runs within a couple of seconds per day from the moment I unboxed it almost 3 years ago. It has a 7S26C movement, being relatively new. Lately came to my attention that when I shake my hands forcefully, like when I do cardio training involving quick hand movement, it gains a significant amount of time. It may gain up to 10 seconds during a half-hour training. Is that normal?
Well, here's the thing. Here's how that works. Okay, you wear your watch all the time. It is always at full power, basically. You're constantly moving. It is always at full power. So when you are doing something and you're working, not only is the mainspring completely powered up and only holding on by the slipping bridle inside, which grips the inside of the barrel, you're continuously adding more power. You aren't giving it a break at all. It's fully wound and you're winding it even more. This puts a ton of power into the main train. And so what's happening is you're putting in so much power and it's flicking so hard that the balance is traveling much more quickly, which is effectively shortening the number of how long a second takes. So instead of being click, tick, 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 it's going to be ticka, 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 like that. And so, yeah, it's going to gain time because you're really pushing. I used to wear, back when I could still run before my knee exploded, I used to wear mechanical watches running, and I stopped doing that before I stopped running, simply because I didn't want to overpower the watch and hurt it. But
Sebastian's having a meltdown.
I'm getting ready this morning, and Sabrina comes into the room, and she's like, I'm shaking.
Anyway, next part. I saw that you like the new 62 MAS reinterpretations, but you didn't say anything about the new X Willards, SPB151 and SPB153.
Haven't seen one.
I would like to hear your opinion on these as I am considering investing in one. I would also like to bring to your attention the leaked images of the SPB 185 and 187. They are supposed to be announced later this year. If these are around $1,000, which would you choose? The new 6R MAS, the X Willard, or the new MM200?
I haven't seen any of the new Willards. The new ones I haven't seen. But this is silly. The red dot. Two things bug me. One, the crown is not at 4, and the red dot on the stoplight hand shouldn't be red. It should be that pinkish orange. Red makes it look like it's red makes it look like it's one of the cheap aftermarket hands you get on eBay. So right now I'm very happy with this one. I will look up the pictures, the leaked images. I haven't seen that. I don't know. But I do have to say one thing to run backwards. New watches at full price, I have a hard time thinking of as an investment. Because just like anything, man, the second you drive a watch off the lot, it's not worth what it was when it was sitting in the showroom. I don't know. I'm a real buy low, sell high kind of guy. And something like this, I mean, when, if ever, is this going to appreciate to the above beyond what you paid for it? You'd have to never touch it, so why own it in the first place? I don't know, it's hard to say. New watches like this, I think going back to that earlier question, new watches like this are ones that should be worn. They're brand new. You should wear them. Something that's not replaceable, like a 6159, that's a little bit more of an argument for keeping it in the safe. Everything's going to be fine. God, really?
That leads us to the next question.
Does it?
Yes. Oh my God. Watch Talk. Awesome video, Spencer. Thank you. So nice to watch. By the way, the clock in the background towards the end of the video sounds as if it's out of beat.
Well, that clock right there, see that clock right there? That was my grandfather's desk clock, and frankly, it was probably his father's desk clock, if not his grandfather's desk clock. It's an 8-day clock made in Boston, I believe, and it runs fine. It sounds like it was. It sounds kind of janky, but
and also he has a thing on it, so it's not like ding ding ding.
Yeah, because it's got 2 alarm coils, so it's like a big wire coil to make the thing. And I have rubber bands around it. Otherwise, it's incredibly loud. But it's actually extremely accurate. I mean, it's fine.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on up there.
I don't know.
I think Willow's still in bed. Darren Mattinson, do you happen to know what size aftermarket bezel insert would fit into one of these?
He's asking about a rally diver, like a 6119 or a 6106 rally diver, one of the early ones. I believe that those inserts, I believe, are the same size as like a 6309 or a 6105 or 7548. It was a very standard size that Seiko used, but because I didn't prepare properly for this video, I could have gone and gotten an original insert and actually given you a number. But tell you what I'll do. I will, after I'm done with this video, I will go, I could go find, screw it. After I'm done with this video, I will go and I will measure one, and I'll get that measurement either in the comments or somewhere, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. You damned. Regarding your question about interest in Seiko releasing a nice quartz diver, I don't see myself buying one. It's not that I'm anti-quartz, I just see Seiko's mechanical divers as a nice niche, I don't know. Now we're going back into that discussion we had like a year ago.
Niche? Niche?
I don't know.
Niche. I say niche.
Okay, they've carved out for themselves, and I honestly don't see any benefit to them changing that up. I have lots of vintage Seiko quartz that I thoroughly enjoy, but much of their appeal is historic.
Well, maybe people are looking to recreate basically a more modern version of the 7548s. Imagine if you had an SKX 007, but it was quartz, then that would be this, basically. I wonder if it can be done. I'm going to do research and we'll find out.
Robert Glynn Jones. I have a Seiko 6119 8060 in mint condition. Loom looks new.
Oh, really? So that's a Mac VSOG watch. Huh? Mint condition, loom looks new. You got a valuable watch on your hands there. What are your plans with it? Asks the buy low, sell high guy. No, not really.
John Carides. It's music to me as when I'm working on something and it's giving me a hard time. I always say, come on, don't fight me. Something that I picked up from my dad when we used to work on cars together growing up.
I don't know. It's just one of those things, man. Don't fight me.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we have from Marcelo Dietrich. He sent us, like, as I was preparing the questions this morning, the email popped up. And so we have a number of
Quick question.
quick questions. So if you don't want to hear quick questions, now is the time to turn the video off.
Because we're not interesting.
Nope.
Okay, most of these I can't answer. Sorry.
You can't?
I don't know anything about watches.
Not giving an answer is also an answer. That's philosophy.
Drilled lugs or not?
Well, drilled lugs or not. No drilled lugs. Drilled lugs. No drilled lugs. No drilled lugs. I guess it depends on the watch. With thin lugs, they look pretty neat having drilled lugs, and it's a nice thing, especially for like older Rolexes. I like the drilled lugs, but like the reissue of the 6309 diver, the SRP 77 whatever the hex, they have drilled lugs in a case, in a cushion style case, and I think it breaks it up visually, and I don't dig it. I don't think it doesn't look right. I understand the purpose for it, doesn't look right. But with these, I think that looks pretty neat. So it depends on the watch.
That was a very quick answer to the quick question.
I don't know. Do you like the little hole or not?
No.
Okay. Well,
I never
there you
even noticed that before.
It's so you can, how you get the spring bar out if you need.
Okay. Well, I like without. Preferred watch width.
40 millimeters.
Acceptable watch width range.
30. Smallest one I have is 34. It's a Rolex 1500. But really, I'm more of 37 to 41.
Preferred bracelet strap width.
I like equal to the lug width, necking down to 14 millimeters at the clasp.
Pretending both are priced identically. Rolex Daytona or Zenith El Primero, or Zenith or whatever.
Thing with the Zenith, they're very cool. I haven't owned one. They're smaller than you'd think they would be. I've never owned a Zenith. Price being equal. I mean, the urge is really to go for the Paul Newman, but honestly, I wouldn't, because for the Paul Newman Rolex Daytona, I hate the font on the dial. Hate it.
Where is she going?
I have no idea. So I would have to go with the Zenith. Let's move on.
Orient Mako 2 or Seiko SKX007.
SKX007.
That's what I was going to say. Rolex Explorer 1 or 2.
I own a Rolex Explorer 1, so I own a 1016, so 1016.
Pretending both are priced identically. First year 1953 Zodiac Seawolf or blank plane 50 fathoms.
I'll take the blank pane. I already owned a Zodiac Seawolf, a number of those, and they're okay, but I definitely would take the blanc pane.
Pretending both are priced identically. Seiko Prospex LX or Rolex Deep Sea Dweller.
I have no idea what the Seiko LX is, none. But I've always been interested in a Rolex Sea Dweller. I think that would be pretty neat.
Favorite new Alpinist color iteration?
None of the above. I don't really like the Alpinists. I really don't. If I was forced at gunpoint to choose an Alpinist, I would probably go with the stock one, the green dial with the gold markers, even though that's the school colors of my hated university.
Well, at least she's back. Shoes, Converse or Vans?
Vans.
Converse.
I used to be a huge Converse guy for decades and decades and decades, and then I bought a pair of Vans at Kohl's, the low ones, black ones with the white stripe on the side, and they're so comfy. Because Converse are too narrow, and I have a super wide foot, whereas the Vans fit great.
What book formed you?
I remember the first series book that I read repeatedly would have been The Hobbit, starting when I was probably about Willow's age. But I don't know, there's a lot of them. Frank Herbert's Dune, Hyperion by Dan Simmons, some really obscure ones. I discovered, I was a voracious reader, and so I discovered this isn't a fiction book, it's Everybody's Pepys. P-E-P-Y-S, Samuel Pepys. He wrote a series of diaries during a very tumultuous time in England's history, specifically about during like the Cromwell and then the Restoration, Charles II, beheading of Charles I. But he wrote this incredibly exhaustive series of diaries, a vast majority of them in code, and he was something of the old goat, and so he was. You would think this time that people would be all nice and proper, but no, he was busy. He was a backdoor man like there never was before. So he wrote everything, all these in flagrante delicto situations with other people's wives in code, and someone decoded the code after the books were already quite famous long after his death, and they realized how scandalous they were. And so there are a lot of edited versions, but I love first-person history, and he has a lot of it. And that was the first time I ever was able to sort of get a sense of what 17th century London looked like. And I just thought it was really cool.
Okay. As for, you want to tell me something?
Yes. I like telling you questions.
Well, now is not the time. Where's Sadie?
He's upstairs.
Okay, but you're supposed to be upstairs.
But can I go outside?
No.
No,
Why?
because you need to have somebody with you. You can't go on your own. You can go on back.
Okay.
Okay, well, so going back. Take that. That looks like a shield. I just remembered something. So I'm talking about Everybody's Peeps, right? I took my history class from Mike Lindstrom's dad at university, right? And he and I really butted heads all the time, even though we get along now. But at the time, I was talking about Everybody's Peeps at some family cocktail party, and he was there, and he heard it, and he turned around, absolutely incredulous. You've read Peeps? And I was like, well,
How
yeah.
can you tolerate being around him?
It was a long time ago.
I guess I hold a grudge. Anyway,
I have Dad's copies of Peeps. They're right over there.
book for me, I wish I read before the show, was Handmaid's Tale. Because it's so scary.
I will also say that one of the most formative series that I've ever read was all the Terry Pratchett stuff, all the Discworld stuff.
What movie last moved you? I don't like watching upsetting movies. I think the last one I watched was Brokeback Mountain, and that
What a movie.
I'll say that.
What a movie. The last movie that moved me? I don't know, most of the movies that you watch move me to the kitchen. I don't know. I mean, I try to avoid movies that are extremely emotional. I don't like being manipulated, and there's like a lot of reasons for me to avoid stuff like that. I do like sort of numb your brain movies.
Yeah, but that's not answering the question. I'm guessing the last one you watched too was Brokeback Mountain with me, which was like forever ago. It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I like movies. I like the Cheeto forms of movies.
I don't like getting upset. It gives me a headache. Breakfast Club or American Pie? I freaking hate Breakfast Club so much.
I never saw American Pie. That's after my time. But I was a Breakfast Club guy. I mean, I saw it brand new in the theater. I think it's pretty cringy now. I don't think I could live through it, but part of my brain always has Breakfast Club going in it.
So I'll say American Pie. What song moves you? I don't know.
God. I can't even begin to list how many songs move me. I've been listening a lot to Alt J. 3WW is the first song off of their Relaxer album. I've been listening to that and grading directly into the next song, which is their unbelievable cover of House of the Rising Sun. But I love the entire album. I just think it's fantastic.
I don't know. I'm miserable. Nothing moves me. No, I go through phases where I'm like, this thing is awesome! And then I get over it, and then I don't care, and then I move on to the next thing. I'm in an I don't care phase. If you started a band, what would its name be? I've been thinking about this for years, and you know what it is?
What?
Frazzled.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Because that's me.
I've had, I don't even know how many band names in my head over the years, but I've sadly forgotten them all.
If you were a rapper, what would your name be?
If I was a rapper, my name would be, either skilled or adequate. Because I had to do all the
Adequate.
presents wrappings, because my brother didn't want to do any of the present wrappings. So I had to do mine and his for Christmas. And so then I got actually really, really proficient at it. And I do a really nice job rapping.
I hate rapping.
So she doesn't rap at all. She doesn't have a rapper name.
Best Rocky movie. Rocky 4. When Rocky stops communism.
I thought it was Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge.
He doesn't like Rocky movies. I love Rocky movies. What? Well, the first one's like an actual movie, and the second one kind of is too, and then it just gets absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Favorite quote?
I've drawn a blank. I have so many. I don't know. I have to think about it. Okay, what I'll have to think about it, and I'll put the answer down in the comments, because I mean they're just so many. I can't. It depends on the situation. There's so many different quotes for every different situation that you can. I'll just go with "good for what whales you." There you go.
And I go with, I welcome their hate.
I do. He does. God, we need. Man.
Don't get started.
Okay, I won't.
But then I'm going to get started. Who of the no longer living would you like to bring back to talk with?
Pliny the Elder. That would be pretty cool. I'd love to have a conversation with Teddy Roosevelt. I think that would be very neat. I would love to finally have a conversation with Terry Pratchett. I mean, I had a chance. I was the last person in line when he spoke at the Boston Library. And it was this huge line and all these people there, and I waited to the very last in line, which maybe was stupid because he was clearly so tired. And I had him sign my copy of Jingo, and he was just burned out. And I didn't want to take his time up, and I didn't want to intrude on him. I just had him sign, didn't even take a picture, and I just scuttled out of there to let him get home. And that would have been, I would have liked to have spoken to him more. I think that would have been cool. I don't know. You?
FDR.
Yeah, FDR. Boy, imagine if you could bring FDR back and sit him down. Well, of course, he would be sitting down. And then go over the current world and political situation. Can you imagine what he would have to say about things?
He would have a lot to say.
Man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, FDR, that'd be really cool.
And I'm sure Teddy would have a lot to say, too.
Teddy would go down to Jack's Surplus and get a new elephant gun and go.
Go trust busting.
Go trust busting. With a very large caliber trust busting. God, can you imagine? He would beat the living tar out of some people. Yeah. He never shied from a fight.
No. Normal questions. What's the best all occasions Seiko for vintage and new?
SKX 007.
Sure, why not? Could you have just one watch? If so, what would it be?
I think about this question all the time. I don't know the answer. It changes on the day. I mean, I've been wearing this thing for like 3 weeks. It's really super nice. Everyday watch, something I would look at and enjoy every day that would be useful. I have my 000 sub. That's a very nice watch. But honestly, I don't know. Maybe my great uncle's Explorer. That's a nice watch. And I don't have to worry about it, and it just runs and runs and runs. I don't know. It's so hard. I've been asking that question for years. Never come up with an answer.
I'll say my Rolex.
Well, yeah, your Rolex is a great watch. Mm-hmm. I guess that's about it.
Yes. I have to go find Willow. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Yep.
still thinking about quotes. Okay, well, that's it. I think we're on to the weekend. I am also, once I get this video uploading, I'm going to make my review of the SPB 147. Because I've had it now for a few days, and I got a few things I want to talk about with it, but that's going to happen here in a little bit. I want to get this video uploaded, but that's it. If I think of any quotes, I'll let you know. Okay, thank you so much. Folks, you have a good weekend.